We're going to be doing a blast type beat, and this sounds like this. Hey, hey. Woo. All right, so the key of getting this West Coast drum feel is you need to kind of let it lag and wobble a little bit. So it's kind of like a Dilla feel almost, but it's just lagged out. So let me show you this. This hi-hat lagging behind the beat, and I delayed this 65 ticks. Now this is very important. If I put this back to 0, it sounds like this. You hear how stiff that sounds? All right, now let's do 65 again. Yeah. So you got that drunk kind of hi-hat feel. So just delay your hats behind the beat, and this will set you up to get that West Coast feel. All right, so I'm going to add some chords to this. The patch that I use for the Rhodes is the old radio EP, and this is from Omnisphere, and you can get this with the Unclean Machine extension. All right, so this one is going to be our full, and in Logic we can actually rename the MIDI region itself. So we're going to name this full chords. Now I'm going to move this over to the right, maybe to measure 8, that's fine. Now this gives us the freedom to add a bass line. Let me show you. Hey. So you see the freedom that I have to add a bass line because there's space in between. That lower frequency isn't being taken up. And this bass is found in the Arteria V Collection series. I have the link in the description for that. And this is the bass that I used. I did tweak this. This is the fat bassard, but I did add my own elements into it to give it a little unique flair there. And so right now we're going to add a bass pad to add variation to this beat. Bass pad that I'm using is the Mini V3, again, from the V Collection series from Arteria. And this is called the Bassua, but as you can see, there's an asterisk, which means I tweak this patch. And what we can do is use this for a different section. That gives us like a pre-chorus or a post-chorus kind of feel. So right now we're going to add more chords, but using different patches because we have the space. All right, so doing that, that's one of my signature moves to allow more chords to come in to provide space instead of clutter. Now that we have simpler chords, let's talk about layering. We could take the same radio EP and put this on a different patch. So we can literally take this progression, click on it, and option drag up to a different patch that we have. See there? So we copied and pasted that progression on this patch called Space Dust. Mute the Rhodes. So what we're going to do now is add one of my favorite signature patches, which is like this J Dilla kind of do. And I basically just use the Jazz Stack doos, and then I put some plugins on it to give it this feel. So we have 3 layers now of chords that are not fighting each other. Now I'm going to give you guys a bonus tip for this. So we could come over here to Arcade. What we can do now to fill up our chords even more so it doesn't sound so one-dimensional is add some samples into this, and Arcade is fire for this. This is the Gravel Roads patch, and this is basically going to give us some guitar samples and kind of fill in the space. So we are in the key of G major or E minor, so we're going to do G major. Boom, we have it. So now let's check this out. We're going to do Control and B in Logic, and this is going to allow us to bounce this in place. And I'm just going to click OK. All the parameters are good. Include audio, tail, and file. We're going to mute the previous track. This is going to give us some more playing room around the performance because this is just one MIDI file. So now we actually have the performance. So what I'm going to do now is give you another bonus production tip. So what we can do is take the first half. So we're going to get rid of this. We're going to option drag this over. I'm going to pull up some more reverb. So I'm going to use H-verb from Waves. And we can turn this wetness down just a little bit. And let's listen. Now what we can do to tuck this is use some EQ, and then we're basically going to roll off this top end of it. And if you're in Logic, you can use some panning to get this to pan from left and right. So we're going to come over here to modulation, and then we're going to go to tremolo. Now we're going to slow this rate down and set to a quarter note. So what we can do now is maybe slow this down a little bit more, and we're going to do whole notes. Nice. All right, let's put it in the track. And by doing that, it centers the track more. And I'm going to give you guys another bonus production tip because you guys are phenomenal. So we can add some vinyl. Now you can check out my lo-fi template for Logic Pro. It includes this vinyl sample and more in the template. So link below for that. So now that we got the vinyl in here, let's blend it into the mix. Now I use third-party plugins in this video, but there is a way to get the same sound only using Logic stock plugins, and to find out, check out this video right over here.